Early the next morning, Knox is in his bed. His eyes are shut. Tiny beads of sweat are rolling down his brow. He's moaning, only half conscious. He seems to be in pain. The sound of an alarm causes his eyes to flutter open. When he finally wakes, he finds himself sprawled on the dingy carpet floor of an apartment building hallway. He chokes with a sudden inhalation of a black smoke. And that's when he realizes the building is on fire. Flames are rolling up the walls around him and spreading down to the carpet. Fire alarms are blaring. Knox struggles to his feet, panicking as the flames climb up his pant legs. Knox hears panicked voices from somewhere in the smoke, calling out, "Help us! Help us! Somebody help!" He hurries down the hall, pounding on doors, looking for the source. Burning tiles drop from above, sparks fly from swinging lights. The whole structure starts imploding around him. At the end of the hall, a single window glows through the smoke. Illuminated by the glare of helicopter searchlights, Knox sprints through the fire, choking. He rushes for the window, and with a flying leap, smashes through the glass. Knox bursts awake. He's coughing and shaking, curled in his bed, drenched in sweat, reeling from the nightmare. He stumbles to the window and tries to open it, but it's impossible. He bangs his fist on the panes, feeling trapped. Then he hears McFadden in the hallway, arguing with someone.
"Where is it? Give it to me!"
Knox unlocks his door and heads outside. He finds McFadden standing in nothing but his boxers, his pale, exposed legs looking even longer than normal. He's shouting at one of the school janitors in the hallway.
"It was here yesterday, and today it's gone. It's as simple as that."
Other boys emerge from their rooms to see what's going on. All the while, the janitor, Emilio, stands next to his cleaning cart, looking confused and protesting his innocence.
Whoa, take it easy.
"It's a fountain pen, an antique Waterman. My grandpa gave it to me before he died. You can't just replace something like that."
Emilio just shakes his head. Then 3 other workers from the cleaning crew come onto the scene. All of them are in jumpsuit uniforms, talking in Spanish.
"Oh, look, here comes the rest of the barrio right on cue."
Another janitor, Angel, tries to calm down Emilio. Then Angel turns to McFadden.
He cleans the room, he doesn't steal. He says he doesn't understand.
Oh, he can understand me. I've seen the way he listens to us.
He glares at Emilio.
"Look at me. I'm watching you. From now on, I am always watching."
It's then that Knox and Hitch grab McFadden by the arms and pull him away. McFadden glowers at the 2 boys, but submits.
"Just wait till it's your stuff they're stealing, assholes."
As they head down the hall, McFadden glances at Knox and gives him an odd look.
"Dude, what happened to you?"
What?
"Your face, man."
Knox looks confused, unaware that his nose is bleeding. He wipes at his face and finds his fingers covered in blood.
Jesus.
The next morning, Knox dabs at his nose with a blood-stained tissue. He's sitting across from his counselor, Dr. Mason. His black hair is a tangled mess.
Have you had this problem before?
No, sir. It just starts bleeding. But only since I've been here.
We'll put you on some medication for it. Better to be cautious.
Dr. Mason looks over Knox's student file, reviewing some paperwork and adding notes.
Beyond the nosebleeds and the incident in the dining hall, how would you describe your transition?
My transition?
As a student, here at Hellsworth.
Knox just shrugs. Dr. Mason lowers his file and smiles.
Look, I know it's tough. Believe me, I get that. I did it myself 20 years ago, and as a student, I hated this place. But as a counselor, 20 years later, I realize it's made me a better man. We're all trying to get you there. So how can we help you do that, Knox?
I don't know. I mean, everything about this place feels different.
As it should. We pride ourselves on being different.
It wasn't a compliment, sir.
Dr. Mason looks up from the file.
There's a smell in the air. It's like a hospital. Antiseptic. The food tastes like it too, like it was all made in a lab somewhere.
Interesting complaint. I've never heard that from other students.
Maybe they're from the same lab.
There's a knock on the door. Dr. Mason ignores it. Instead, he looks at Knox.
What do you mean by that?
Everyone here is perfect. Smart, motivated, in the exact same way. It's like they're made from the same mold.
There's another knock, and Headmaster Cass pokes his head inside.
Sorry. Hope I'm not interrupting. I thought I'd drop in and make the acquaintance of our new student.
He nods at Knox.
When you're finished, son, stop by my office. We'll take a walk.
Actually, we're finished now.
Dr. Mason returns to his file. There's a slight edge to his voice when he speaks next.
I'd say we've covered enough.
Moments later, Knox walks through the main hallway of the administrative building, alongside Mr. Cass. Faded class portraits hang on the walls, beside school crests and varsity sweaters. Knox notes each in passing.
I was disappointed to hear about the skirmish in the dining hall. It's not the first we've had at Ellsworth, and it surely won't be the last. Boys will be boys. But knowing your father as I once did, I suppose I expected better from you.
Well, sir, it's hard living up to someone you barely even know.
Mr. Cass puts a reassuring hand on Knox's back as they walk.
Those for whom little is expected, little is achieved. Yet when greatness is expected, then and only then can greatness be possible. Do you understand that?
You want us to be the best.
We don't want it. We need it. The world is haunted by mediocrity because it accepts it. It breeds it. But not here. Not at Ellsworth. We expect so much of you here because, frankly, anything less would be a disservice to you. If that makes us different, so be it. We're not like the rest of the world. We're better than that.
Cass stops at an old class photo on the wall and leans in closer to see it. He invites Knox to do the same.
Do you recognize anyone?
You mean my father?
Mr. Cass nods. Knox looks a bit closer, really studying it. In the old photo, 100 teenage boys stare back at Knox. All of them are in Ellsworth jackets, with the same youthful swagger. Knox scans the faces, one after the next, but he can't find his father's.
Well, keep looking. I'm sure you'll find him in here, somewhere.
That night, Knox is in the library, looking through a stack of old yearbooks on a table. He pores over each one, reviewing various class photos, searching for a familiar face. But he finds nothing.
Hello, sunshine.
Riley appears over his shoulder and takes a seat beside him.
Last time I saw you, you were throwing my ex across a table.
That guy was your ex?
One of them.
Your ex is an asshole.
That's why he's my ex.
She smiles.
And he's not so bad. He's just got that alpha dog thing going on. He's always barking about something.
A few nearby students try to shush her, but Riley just sneers at them. She leans closer to Knox and glances at the yearbooks.
So, who are we looking for?
A ghost from the past.
I'm chasing one of those myself.
Riley looks around, secretively, and puts a piece of paper in front of him. It's a torn page from a book with a message in the margins. Knox quietly reads the words aloud.
Awake, arise, or be forever fallen.
Kinda pretty, huh?
I guess. Who wrote it?
Milton originally. It's from Paradise Lost. But the person who wrote it in the margins, well, that was a girl named Sophia Lynn. The girl who fell from the tower.
Riley quietly takes back the paper, refolds it, and puts it in her pocket.
Sophia was holding that book when she hit the ground. They were finding pieces of it and of her for days. But I found this one in her room, on her pillow. She left it for us.
Like a suicide note.
Or a warning.
Knox looks at her closely, trying to gauge if she's serious.
You don't find that compelling?
It's none of my business.
Oh, you're probably right. I mean, you seem like a well-adjusted boy, with the table throwing and that perpetual shaking hand of yours.
Knox glances at his hand, unaware it was even shaking. Riley gets up, then leans in and whispers in Knox's ear.
Something is wrong with this school, and I know deep down that you feel it too. Let me show you something. I swear it'll blow your mind.
A few hours later, Riley and Knox are sneaking away into the shadows of Hellsworth Academy. It's nighttime. Their voices are hushed. The lights of dorm windows glow in the distance behind them.
We can't do this in the morning?
It might be gone by morning. Besides, it gives us time to chat.
About what?
About you, of course. You're quite the mystery around here. I've heard you were kicked out of your last school, though nobody knows exactly why. Some people say you left a girlfriend back home. Or maybe a boyfriend back home.
Is that what people say?
People will say lots of things when they don't know the truth.
Riley pauses, fishing for a response. But Knox stays quiet.
Well, don't spill it all at once. I just want to know what you were like before you came here. Because this school changes people.
With that, she smirks and pushes forward, and leads Knox into the horse stables. Shafts of moonlight filter down from the high ceilings of the stables. The horses stir in their stalls.
I've been working down here since last semester. If you help keep the stalls clean, they'll let you ride whenever you feel like it.
Knox looks around. In the darkness, he hears the huffing of horses. Riley heads to the last stall.
So, I came for a quick ride before dinner, and lo and behold, look what I found.
Riley hits a light switch, turning on a single bulb hanging above the last stall. In the stall is a parked car, half buried in hay and hidden under a tarp. Knox pulls off the tarp, revealing a yellow taxi.
Look familiar?
Vaguely.
Oh, stop it. You know it does. That's the cab that brought you here. Which, as it turns out, is the same cab that brought me here. Look at the license. Same driver.
Knox looks inside and sees the same taxi driver ID on the dash.
So, why is it here now?
Exactly. I've been at this school for 2 years, and I never questioned what was going on. Kids would be here one day, gone the next. They couldn't make grades, their parents pulled them out, they'd start to freak, whatever. I knew something was wrong deep down, but I just never cared enough to look into it. But Sophia did, and now she's dead.
Suddenly, Riley and Knox hear voices. Riley panics and turns off the light. She quickly pulls the tarp back over the cab. They hear the sound of footsteps entering the stables.
Riley, over here.
Knox gestures to an open window in an upper berth. He strains to lift Riley high enough to reach it, quietly as he can. Then, as the footsteps draw near, he pulls himself up and escapes with her. Minutes later, Knox and Riley rush back through the darkened quad, darting among the shadows. Knox still brushing hay off his jacket.
Don't tell me that wasn't weird.
It was very weird. Now I'm gonna smell like horse for a week.
As they duck behind a tree, Riley stops for a moment and helps sweep debris off Knox's shoulder.
I can make it all worth it. I hear I'm worth $500 on the hit list.
Riley cups Knox's face in her hands. She brings her lips just inches from his, and then gives him a playful push.
But I'm gonna hold out for more.
Are you serious?
Oh wait, there's a chem lab quiz tomorrow. Can't have you flunking out of here, can we?
And with that, she's gone, running toward the girls' dorm. Knox can't help smiling as he watches her disappear into the dark.
That girl is crazy.
Just then, a male voice startles him from behind.
You shouldn't be out here.
Knox barely has time to turn before a burlap hood is thrown over his face. He panics and calls for help, but his cries are muffled. He tries to fight, but he can't even see who's there as he's dragged away into the darkness.